I'm standing in what many have claimed to be the best hotel in the world. Other hotel YouTube creators have given this property perfect scores. It's perched on the edge of a 10-million-year-old rainforest in the island of Legends in Malaysia. This is one I just had to fly out and review myself. With dozens of criteria and 4 comprehensive tests, I reviewed this hotel out of 50 points in 5 categories. The categories are the ambiance, the room, the dining, the service, and the it factor. All of my reviews can be found at ryanwalkert5.com, and there'll be a grid at the end of this video comparing similar scores. This entire resort was designed to look like a kampung village, and you absolutely have to see the rooms a little later, but I want to start with the ambiance. I want to kick off the ambiance segment by saying that I was not paid or compensated in any way to do this review. I paid full price for the room. I'm not sponsored by the hotel. This is just me staying here for the first time. I'd also like to show you how this hotel is actually laid out with this map here that my team and I made. So as soon as you enter into the hotel, you go into the main lobby, and the main lobby has a welcome and reception area. Outside of the welcome and reception area is the beach here that you see. There's also a main pool and a secondary pool that flank the beach on each side, and you have a couple of restaurants near each of those pools. There's also a gym, a Ritz-Carlton spa, and all of the villas and guest suites. Some of these are actual residences. They also have a couple of other fun things on site, but I don't want to give away too much, so why don't we dive in and start with the pool. This pool won the best pool in all of Malaysia by Travel + Leisure just last year, and you can see why. This incredible glass wall here, the infinity edge looking right over the ocean, it really is a stunning view. However, I'm not the biggest fan of the different furnishings they have here. They seem a little worn down, the colors are eclectic, and I think you could be even more elevated and elegant with the furnishings by the pool. Some of the materials are also a little bit worn out, and I wonder if that's also the case down at the beach. Continuing with the places by the water here at the Ritz-Carlton, we are at the beach. Now, this beach is quite spectacular. Behind me on this side, you have an ancient rainforest, and here you have the Grand Andaman Sea. The beach is spacious, very clean, very well organized, tons of chairs, tons of staff, no complaints here. If you're looking for a beach vacation in Langkawi, this is gonna be the spot to do it. Also on the beach, they can set up a private dining experience for you. Now, it's not the dining segment yet, we'll look at that later, but you basically have the whole place to yourself, or with a loved one, or by yourself. Behind me is the second pool here. There's an epic razor-thin infinity edge pool. Just incredible architecture at this property. But there is a strange dichotomy here. You have this very expensive build mixed with some low-budget furnishing and materials. It's almost like the Ritz-Carlton came in, spent a huge amount of time and resources on the property itself, and then dropped the ball at the final moment when it came to the design of the furniture and the materials that they used. Now we're in the spa, which is creatively named the Ritz-Carlton Spa. They have very interesting, unique local treatments here, like Mandi Bunga, which is a ritual inspired by the Malay royal bathhouses. They also have these incredible buildings you see behind me, which were also inspired by indigenous fishing nets that were made out of rattan and bamboo. In the spa, they also have a full hammam. Now, it is very busy in this spa, as you can probably guess by how beautiful it is, so I wasn't able to book a treatment while I stayed here, but you get the idea. Unique treatments, incredible spaces, and this building is actually the reason why many book Ritz-Carlton Langkawi, because it's in all of their marketing materials. Let's keep it moving. So this is very interesting on site. They have a sea cucumber nursery here because the ocean is actually overexploited when it comes to sea cucumbers. The Malaysian people call it gamat, and they use it for health and medicinal properties, but it was actually overutilized, causing marine ecosystem issues. So the Ritz-Carlton stepped in and actually helps to rehabilitate the sea cucumber in the ocean. I haven't seen anything like that before, but I found that to be fascinating and a great part of the sustainability of the hotel. Now this is the gym, so I doubt you'll be spending a lot of time in the gym during your vacation, but if you do, everything in here is techno gym, and the real standout in here is a 180-degree glass window wall, so you can see birds flying by as you're exercising. They have unlimited complimentary water. That's really all there is to see in here. So in this area of Langkawi, there are so many monkeys that they put stuffed animal tigers all throughout the property to make sure they don't actually come to the resort. I haven't seen a single monkey yet, much in thanks to these guys. When you're not on a golf cart, which is most likely how you'll be getting around, you can walk. And when you walk, you start to see some of the details in the maintenance. So this is far from the most groomed and maintained property that I've reviewed on this channel. Many other luxury hotels and tropical places will really manicure their hedges and plants, and here they really allowed the foliage to run wild. There is some design and there is some organization to the space, but there's also a lot of dead leaves, uneven ground, and it's just not really very aesthetically pleasing. For me personally, I really appreciate the level of passion, effort, care, and time that it takes to curate a property when you're going to be a guest staying there. Every night here on the beach before sunset, they have 3 dancers come out and ritualistically welcome the evening, which, by the way, you have to see this resort at night. It's come time for the ambiance score. Those are all of the public spaces at this hotel available for guests. And although, like you can see here, it is a very beautiful location, if you look at just the materials themselves, the building of this property, the maintenance of the grounds, the spa, the gym, it was pretty underwhelming. The quality of the materials are definitely due for a renovation after 8 years here. And the public spaces like the gardening, the greenery just isn't very well maintained. Now, this beach is a definite huge plus and is still very much a comfortable stay. I gave the ambiance a 7 out of 10. Now, I got the base level room here, which comes in at around $650 US per night at the time of recording this, or 2,600 Malaysian ringgit. It's time to take a closer look. Walking to the room now with my room card, which by the way looks like this. I got the base level room here at the Ritz-Carlton because it's the most common category. However, they do have some villas that are stilted above the water. Maybe for a future review. There are 115 total rooms here at the Ritz-Carlton, including 29 suites, 15 villas, and 70 rooms like this one. My first impression walking in, wow, very impressive natural light, full walls of glass, the nature right outside of your room. It's almost like you're in a treehouse here. The materials in here are also surprisingly very high quality relative to the materials that we saw in the public spaces at the hotel. Part of that is this bed. It looks very plush, quite large. Excited to get in here and test this later tonight, and I'll let you know how it is in the morning. Next to the bed, you have all of the outlets that you could ever need, including an adapter there for you. There are different buttons here, although one of them unfortunately does not work. I tested it earlier, but buttons that control the lights, the drapes, the blinds, everything is modern and integrated into the room seamlessly, including this TV, which comes right off the wall here, swings out, has a very minimalistic, nice, clean design to it. And some of the furnishing, like this lamp, is just very uniquely designed. However, upon further inspection, the lamp doesn't actually have a drawstring to pull it off. You have to unplug it to turn the lamp off. So just little things like that maybe could be taken a look at in the room because they're details, but over a longer stay, those details definitely add up. Outside, you have a balcony, which is standard in all rooms. There's also a table with amenities. They've put out some local traditional Malaysian desserts here with some additional cookies, as well as a set of chocolate truffles, very high end, and a full fruit bowl. So So this is standard. They do not know I'm reviewing the hotel. They didn't look my name up before this. I always try to book it very discreetly, and it's just a nice way that Marriott welcomes you to this room. Over on this side of the room is your mini bar. There's quite a lot to see here. So 2 drawers that have dry goods and snacks, including salted egg yolk potato crisps. It's incredible. It's a local from Kuala Lumpur snack. You have tempeh chips, and on this side, you have oat cookies, as well as the Skinny Baker's corn flakes, which is also right here from Malaysia. I love it when a mini bar incorporates dry goods from local vendors. It really adds a nice touch to the stay, especially for international travelers. Down below is a very large mini bar. In the Upper House Hong Kong, they called this a maxi bar because it is so much bigger than a mini bar. I think they coined that term, but they did it here as well. You have full bottles of champagne and wine. You have beers, waters, of course, chocolate, and sodas. Everything is available for purchase. Up above, standard Nespresso machine, tea kettle, and Nespresso pods, as well as 4 bottles of water. I'm definitely a stickler for waters in the room. Plenty of water in here. Look at this bathroom. Not only do you have a large soaking tub here that is pristinely clean, you've got robes, a very large shower that we're gonna test in just a moment, dual vanity here, big mirror, and some iced jade marbling here that is so beautifully done. It's almost elevated over the ground and floating. This bathroom is really spectacular. Let's see if the shower holds up. The shower test is 3 criteria points. That is the size, the ease of use, and the pressure. Let's start with the size. There's nothing anyone could say about the size of this shower. It is huge for a base level room. Number 2, ease of use. You have a handheld shower and a rain head that is pretty tiny for how big the shower is, so I'm curious to see how that affects the pressure. But the ease of use here, you have 2 dials. Top dial is left or right for handheld or rain shower. Bottom dial is the temperature. Pretty confusing out of the gate here. You have a temperature gauge, which is red and blue, so that makes sense. But left and right are both just one line. So it's not very clear which one is which. In fact, I'm not sure, so let's test. All right, so left is the rain shower, right is the handheld. I do appreciate they faced it that way so it doesn't spray me. So let's turn on here, left, and try to change the temperature. So I was messing with this earlier. I'm fairly certain the temperature dial is actually broken in this room. So it doesn't turn past the point where normally it would here. You can see that with this button isn't really working. It's very clunky and kind of hard to twist. So I'm fairly certain it's not working the way it was intended to. That's definitely gonna affect the ease of use. Final note is pressure. This shower is quite weak. It's a very soft rain shower. It is kind of trickling down here. And honestly, it's such a small surface area for how large this shower is that I don't feel that it actually makes up for the space. And because the pressure is so low and the shower head is all the way up there, it kind of feels like you're getting drizzled on as opposed to a shower that would actually clean you at the end of the day. Overall, personally, the shower did not pass the shower test for me. I love the size, I love the backsplash here, but the ease of use is clunky. Any shower that's broken kind of automatically fails the shower test, and the overhead shower just isn't sized correctly for the space in here, and it's a little too high up for the level of pressure. It's starting to get sunset now. I want to change into a robe and test the bed. I am so excited to sleep in this bed tonight and give it a full review. But before I do that, I have a couple of things I want to do in this room. Number 1 is tell you about the turn down service. So turn down service at a hotel is when the staff come into the room and they make it ready for sleep. They dim the lights, they put waters next to the bed, and usually they put some kind of gift or something to take home, whether it's a note, sometimes it's a story, sometimes it's a small art piece that you can take with you. There was nothing like that here at the Ritz-Carlton, but they did have an incredible check-in welcome amenity in the room, so I feel that makes up for it. The second thing I want to do before I go to sleep is let you know that I have been seeing all of your comments about sleeping in a thick robe like this one every night for these reviews. Many of you have said it must be uncomfortable, it must get hot, I can't believe you actually sleep in a robe, so on and so on. And so I'm thrilled to say that in 2026, I'm partnering with one of my all-time favorite clothing brands, Vuori. They have provided me all of the outfits that you see in this review. They are also the sponsors of this video. Vuori is so comfortable to sleep in, to exercise in, and to walk in. Its performance meets movement. I could not be a bigger fan. In fact, I was a fan of Vuori well before I ever partnered with them with this channel, and it just feels like a perfect fit. If you scan the QR code that's on your screen right now, you can get 20% off any Vuori item on their website if you sign up for emails. Again, I have been a fan of Vuori for a long time, especially for their fitness attire, and everything in this review is Vuori. There's one more thing that I want to do before I go to sleep, and that is call the front desk and order room service breakfast for a certain time tomorrow morning. A little later in this review, in the service segment, we're gonna see if the food showed up on time, if it was hot, if it was fresh, because I always order the exact same thing. Let's call the front desk.
Queen guest service.
Hi there, could I order room service breakfast for tomorrow, please?
Can I know where to order?
Could I have an Eggs Benedict and a black coffee, please?
Egg Benedict and one black coffee, okay?
That is perfect.
Only this. Can I know what time that you like this to be sent to your room?
Could I do it for 7 a.m., please?
So 7 a.m. to be sent to the room, yes, Ryan?
That's correct.
Yeah, so one Egg Benedict and one black coffee, yeah?
Perfect.
7 a.m. tomorrow, sure. Is there anything else I can assist you?
That was wonderful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Have a good night. Nice and easy. I've got my Vuori on, very comfortable, ready for sleep. Let's get in there. That was a solid sleep. Comfortable mattress, soft plush comforter on top. Nothing too noteworthy, but definitely passes the sleep test here. My favorite thing about this room, it is so soundproof, gets very dark, very cold, and that view of the sunrise with the big windows, wow. It's time for the room score. The room score. This room was very comfortable, very modern, and in stark contrast to the stunning nature that's surrounding it here. Generally, I would have given this almost a perfect score if it wasn't for those little issues that need to be fixed, like the button not working and the light needing to be unplugged in order to actually turn off. Also, the shower pressure could absolutely be improved, but the bed was comfortable and it is very, very spacious. I also thought the welcome amenity, which is more in the service segment, but I thought the welcome amenity was a very nice touch in the room, and all of the materials were high quality. I gave the room an 8 out of 10. Now, there are 3 restaurants here and 1 bar, and I'm so looking forward to ordering the most popular items at each of them. So I'm gonna change, and let's get into the dining segment. Good morning from Langkawi Kitchen. So this is breakfast, or santapan pagi, here in Malaysia. It is a full buffet and a a la carte menu, and the best part about it, it's all included in your stay. Before the main courses here for breakfast come out, I want to talk about the buffet for a moment. So many extraordinarily high quality options. I've got juices here, ginger, you can see it for yourself. Amazing buffet. I got a couple of things that I just wanted to sample and try. Again, if you've seen the channel, you know my love for croissants. This is an adorable mini croissant here. As good as what you'd find in Europe. Really blown away. I got a white coffee, which is a pretty traditional coffee drink in the morning in Malaysia. It's very nice. It's quite sweet. It comes in a packet. Wow, that's also very good.
Lontong, ikan di sourdough toast with the duck egg.
So there's a full assortment here in front of me. This is a deviled egg sandwich, sourdough avocado toast, fit in at any fine dining breakfast establishment. You have crepes here, and then some more local dishes as well. So I'm gonna start with the lontong. So this is a coconut gravy soup. It's a pretty traditional Malaysian dish. Flavors are just so vibrant, so full, so hearty. Nothing is amiss on this menu. Best breakfast flavors at a hotel on the channel so far. It officially gets that award here at the Ritz-Carlton Langkawi. More than impressed. This level of quality, all included, the buffet and a la carte, as much as you want. If this is any sign for how the dining is gonna be for lunch and dinner, this is gonna be a great day. For lunch, we're here at the Beach Grill, and there's really only one item on this menu that is their absolute signature. It's in a lot of their marketing materials around the property, so of course, I'm gonna order it. I appreciate that.
I see your video about Ritz-Carlton Hong Kong.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Very honest review from you. So
amazing.
yes, a few weeks ago, I discovered you.
You found before I even stayed here. That's
Yes.
awesome, man. Adib has seen the videos on YouTube.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this. I really appreciate. How long have you worked at Ritz-Carlton?
6 years.
Have you been to Hong Kong?
Not yet. In my bucket list.
Wow.
Yes.
Very cool. Adib, such a pleasure to meet you.
Yes.
This is the Hainanese chicken sando, which is inspired by Hainanese rice. So we have 2 thick cut pieces of bread in there, of course, Ritz-Carlton Langkawi paper here. Look at that, what a great bite. So already, smells extraordinary, so soft, spongy. Cheers. The perfect grab and go sandwich by the beach here. You just relax, feel the breeze. It really does complete this picture right now. All of the flavors in the dining segment have been extraordinary so far, and the service has been really excellent as well. The water never gets too low. The placemats and table settings are constantly cleaned. Everything is placed and presented beautifully. I'm very impressed with the staff here. I'm excited for dinner tonight. I have a very interesting restaurant booked that I can't wait to show you, but before that, I want to get a quick sunset drink at the Horizon Bar. So this is the primary bar on site, and the main reason you come here is to look at the horizon. The sunset here is stunning. It's very popular. It's bustling and busy, but not too loud. And they even have a DJ that comes out and performs for you. I ordered their most signature cocktail. It'll be out in a moment, and we'll add it to the dining score. This is the Hornbill. This is their signature drink. You can actually just take the rosemary out and drink it right here. You know what? I know a better place to have this. The final part of the dining segment, this is Hai Yan, which is a high-end Chinese restaurant here in Langkawi. Now, there are almost 70 different menu items that you can have here. The menu is quite extensive. So I just asked our server what is the most popular, what is the most interesting. We're doing 3 courses tonight, including dessert. Very excited about that. We're gonna round all of this segment together at the end for the dining score. The first dish has officially arrived. The appetizer is a soft shell crab, sweet and sour, beautiful presentation, a little bit of gold leaf on top. However, they didn't mention how you're supposed to, so I'm guessing you just kind of cut into it and eat the various pieces. Before I do that, I want to tell you briefly about their teas that they have here. So if you've seen any of my reviews in Hong Kong or South Korea, you know I'm a big fan of high quality tea. This is a ultra premium, very rare green tea that they have. There's a full list of different teas that you can select from. Oh, such a nice compliment to any meal, especially very rich Chinese cuisine like this. All right, let's dive into this crab. This is the entire crab just fried, which is why it's a soft shell crab, because you can actually eat the shell. The sweet and sour, I mean, first of all, sweet and sour is one of the best flavor profiles you can have with the crab meat, so fresh, A little bit of a crunch from the frying of the crab. Ooh, this is a very nice starting dish. I can see why they would recommend it. Main course is here. This is a Wagyu wok fried black peppercorn sauce steak, cubed and cut here on the plate, beautifully presented, sugar snap peas on the side. Looks like some mixed vegetables in there, and he mentioned there's capsaicum inside of it as well, so a little bit of spice. My mouth is watering just talking about it, and I love these little leaves here on the top. All right, enough talking. So smooth, just a wonderful cut of beef, prepared very well. I have no notes on this. This is an excellent dish and a fantastic main. Makes me really get excited about that dessert. Dessert tonight is a fried durian fruit. So if you're not familiar with durian, this is the fruit that smells really bad. In fact, it smells so bad that you cannot bring durian in many hotels in Malaysia. It's actually restricted in many buildings because the smell lingers. So I've had durian before, but I've only eaten it fresh. This is fried durian. So one of my least favorite things about durian is the texture. The fruit is a very mealy, kind of mushy texture on the inside. The smell is unappetizing, and just the entire experience was definitely not my favorite. If it's fried, I wonder if it's gonna be a little more palatable. Frying it fixes it. It really does. The durian inside is melted, so it's more like a liquid, probably from the heat, and the frying of it removes the texture issues. Very pleasantly surprised and happy about this one. Before we close out the dining segment, they laid out one more golden packet here that has a fortune cookie inside. So I'm gonna read my fortune. I know maybe it's not the best luck or it won't come true, but I think with all of you, it will. There is no such thing as failure, only feedback. You know what? Because of this fortune cookie, I'd love to hear ways that I could improve these reviews. Things that you'd like to see, maybe other tests that you can think of, things that you look for when you stay in hotels. Put them in the comments below and let's make this fortune come true. That's all of the dining here at the Ritz-Carlton. Let's go give it a score. The breakfast buffet, the lunch sandwich, and the dinner were all so exceptional. The flavor profiles here at the Ritz-Carlton Langkawi are completely dialed in, and the dining team should be very proud. However, the only negative here is that these menus would get pretty old pretty quickly if you stayed for a long period of time. It's not the easiest to leave the resort and go find other food, and many of the resorts that I've reviewed have 6, 7, maybe 8 restaurants, which seems to be the global standard now. Here at the Ritz-Carlton Langkawi, they really only have those 3, and one of them is a light bites quick grab restaurant. Overall though, those flavors were out of this world. The plating and presentation was exceptional. The atmosphere in these restaurants was wonderful as well. I gave the dining an 8.5 out of 10. Now, service is so paramount and important to a luxury hotel stay. It's also the most difficult score to give, but I have a couple of tests for the Ritz-Carlton Langkawi that I can't wait to see how they do. It is 6:58 a.m. I have my Eggs Benedict and black coffee that I ordered last night, so it is early, which is a great sign. It looks very appetizing here, but before I dive in, I want to talk about the price. So this is the lowest cost breakfast service trial on the channel so far at 122 ringgit, which is only around 25 US dollars. Now that doesn't include tip, but here in Malaysia, tip is not really that customary. However, at the Ritz-Carlton, it does seem like it is a little bit expected. That price is still really fantastic. So the Eggs Benedict does have some smoked salmon on top, and it looks like they already cut open the eggs for me. So because the yolk, it was already cut, you can see it's quite thick. While I'm cutting this, you might be wondering, why is it still dark outside? Well, here in Malaysia, in Langkawi, the sun doesn't actually rise until 7:45 a.m. So, eating in the dark here. So it's not the dining segment, but it is very cold And as you saw from the yolk, it's actually been sitting out for a while, maybe one of the worst that I've tried on the channel so far. So this is a good example of how long this has been sitting. So the hollandaise has a crust on the top of it. They actually made this quite a long time ago. Pretty disappointing on the breakfast service trial. Let's see the coffee. Coffee is hot and fresh. But if I were to just be ordering this, I'd be happy that it arrived on time, but I would be really underwhelmed with this dish. Unfortunately, this does fail the breakfast service trial, but we won't know how the service here actually is until we give it an official service test. The service test is the part of the review where I call the front desk and ask for something they're not used to hearing or accommodating. I've asked for many strange things in the past, like a hot air balloon over the savannah or a tour to the cenotes last minute. Here in Langkawi, we saw those sea cucumbers earlier, and it got me to thinking, I wonder if they can actually do something with guests to allow them to be a part of that sustainability practice. Let's see what they can do. Hi there, can you hear me? Yes. Wonderful. I have kind of an odd request for you. I spoke to one of your staff who said that it's possible to have guests actually help the staff and the marine biologist re-release the sea cucumbers in your nursery into the ocean. And I was wondering if it was possible for me to take part in that.
Yeah, but we only conduct for the sea cucumber talk, or we're not releasing it. We don't have the program of releasing the sea cucumber to the ocean. We will gather you to give you a sea cucumber talk with the marine biologist, and you'll be able to touch, experience, to lift it and touch it.
You said that is something that I'm able to do, is to go and touch it and talk to a marine biologist?
Yes, the marine biologist will bring you to the nursery, and you'll be able to touch it and have some short talk about the sea cucumber.
Okay, that sounds amazing. I would love that.
Certainly, Mr. Ryan. So I'll just let our marine biologist know and get him prepared everything.
Okay. Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Then I'll see you later.
All right. Have a great day. All right. So I had a feeling that they would allow the guests to get more involved in that sustainability practice. I've never really been somewhere where they have that kind of nursery and rehabilitation program for the local wildlife and animals. So on the way over there, we'll talk about the service generally at the hotel as well. The majority of the staff here at the Ritz-Carlton are from Malaysia, and my experience in interfacing with Malaysian people is that they are some of the kindest, nicest, most hands-on staff I've ever had the pleasure of interacting with. However, not everything was perfect in the service here. There was no text-based communication system. At least there wasn't one that they used with me or reached out to me via, which makes it difficult to coordinate certain aspects of the stay. One of the things that was difficult to coordinate was the golf carts. There are not enough golf carts here on the property, which means you're often waiting very long times for them to show up. You don't know where to find staff to order a golf cart. It's just not a very organized system. Beyond that, they did call me by the incorrect last name a few times, and there were just little things that were missing that you wouldn't have if you had a dedicated butler, for example, like some of the hotels I've reviewed. However, with all of that being said, there were so many great things. The welcome amenity was fantastic. The welcome drink, every aspect of the welcome itself was very hands-on and thoughtful. And my interactions with staff have always been very pleasant and positive. I'm excited to see how they handle that service test.
Thank you very much for your interest in our sea cucumber project, Mr. Walker. So sea cucumbers, you can find them all over the world actually. They are one of the unsung heroes of the ocean, and that's also one of the reasons why we choose them to highlight here in the resort itself. They are very famous in Chinese and Japanese cuisine. They don't have any bones. So put it on your hand. Squishy.
So can he feel me doing this right
yes.
now? So what does it think is happening right now?
Well, it thinks it's out of the water, probably because of the tide. Because this, you can see it's plumping up, because this is how they protect themselves when they are left behind by the tide. They can actually walk, move quite slow. So when the tides leave them behind, they go between the rocks and plump up with the water so that they can survive until the next tide comes in.
So he can feel that?
He can feel that.
I don't know how you all feel about this, but what a fascinating part of the Ritz-Carlton Langkawi here. And the fact that they're doing their part to help the ecosystem is amazing. So thank you so much for coming out and being a part of this. So last minute as
No
well.
worries. Yes.
I would say for sure they passed the service test here. I think he thinks so too. Let's give him the score now. Wow, well, I never thought I'd touch one of those, but the Ritz-Carlton Langkawi definitely passed the service test, and generally, as I mentioned, around the hotel, they have been quite attentive. In fact, this would be a near perfect score if it wasn't for some of those issues that I mentioned, and I think a lot of those can be solved with communication. A text-based system where they text the guests before we have to text them would solve almost all of those issues. I gave the service an 8 out of 10. The it factor is 3 considerations. That is the location, the unique nature of the hotel, and the value. Starting with the location. So the Ritz-Carlton Langkawi is perfectly placed on the island of Langkawi. They also have these golf carts that can take you anywhere you want to go around the property, and it's very easy to get anywhere you need to be in the island if you want to go explore. But what really makes the Ritz-Carlton Langkawi unique? Well, it's partially the longhouse architecture of the indigenous Bornean tribes here. The stark contrast of these black buildings and the verdant green forest is really special. You also have a great beach right there, 2 amazing pools, so generally speaking, it is something you may want to tell your friends and family about, but there are many resorts in Langkawi that have similar kind of structures and similar offerings. And finally, the value. The Ritz-Carlton Langkawi is priced at an international scale, so it's on comparable par with other global luxury hotels around the world. However, here in Malaysia, it is significantly more expensive by at least 30 to 40%. All of the dining venues are marked up, the rate per night is much higher than others in the area, and so that's definitely a consideration. However, we are always comparing to all of the other luxury hotels on the channel, and from that perspective, it is definitely worth it. You get breakfast included in your stay, there's non-motorized water sports that are also included, and that breakfast service test was very much so accessible. I do think it's worth it for the price to stay here. However, it's worth considering what else you might be able to book in the area for significantly less. Considering those 3, I gave the it factor a 7.5 out of 10. That was the Ritz-Carlton here in Langkawi. And although, like you saw, it was far from perfect, like other reviewers may have said it is, I still felt it was a comfortable stay and one that I'd recommend if you're here on the island. However, I also believe there are even better hotels to come here in Malaysia. If you add all of the scores together throughout this review, I gave Ritz-Carlton Langkawi here in Malaysia a 39 out of 50. With that, sadly, it is time to check out. Thank you for watching this. I'm Ryan Walker, and we'll see you on the next one.